Hello everyone, today, we will talk about the rock paintings that have come down to our times from ancient times. Some of the world's most famous rock carvings are tens of thousands of years old. Despite the fact that people who lived in these eras were considered cavemen, many of these sketches demonstrate the impressive creativity and skill of the then inhabitants of planet Earth. There are no specific, universal theories about the purpose of all these ancient drawings. Due to the protected underground environment, many rock carvings are in surprisingly good condition. Unfortunately, some of the most popular caves had to be closed because a large number of visitors changed the conditions inside the caves, which led to the fading of drawings or the growth of mold. Nevertheless, the dozen similar places listed below are still trying to offer visitors to see firsthand these relics of ancient human life. The drawings in the Lascaux cave in southwestern France are not the oldest examples of art in the world, but they are considered one of the most stunning. The paintings, painted about 17,000 years ago, depict large animals such as bulls and horses that lived in this part of Europe during the Paleolithic era. The images were discovered by a group of teenagers in 1940, and in 1979, the cave was added to the UNESCO World Heritage List. Unfortunately, Lascaux is currently closed to the general public. The cave paintings have begun to fade inexorably, and mold has been found inside the cave itself. Curious travelers will have to make do with a replica of the largest cave hall, called Lascaux II, which is located about 200 meters from the real cave. Nowadays, serious efforts are being made to protect the original paintings from further fading. Tourists can see the original rock carvings in another famous place, Swimmer's Cave. These paintings depict floating people, but the cave itself is located in one of the last places on planet Earth that you could associate with aquatic activity. It is located in the Sahara Desert in Egypt, near the border with Libya. Some scientists suggest that in prehistoric times there was a large lake or river in this area, but later the region was subjected to desertification. Many people may be familiar with this cave firsthand, as it was featured in the feature film The English Patient, 1996. Some parts of the cave were still damaged by visitors, but local authorities have made serious efforts to train guides so that they can deter tourists from continuing to increase further damage. Due to its remoteness, a small number of people can actually visit this cave. By the way, it is one of many in the area where there are ancient drawings. 7316. The cave paintings were found along the entire length of the Altamira cave, located in the northern part of Spain, about 32 kilometers from the city of Santander, autonomous community of Cantabria. Scientists believe that the paintings lining the kilometer-long passages were created over a long 20,000 years, and some researchers even believe that the most ancient images were made by the Neanderthals themselves. Apparently, the cave was sealed by a rockfall, which is why all the drawings are so perfectly preserved. The cave was uncorked only in the 1880s. It took decades to convince skeptics that the images really date back to prehistoric times. Due to the carbon dioxide released by visitors' breathing, Altamira's paintings began to fade. Nowadays, most people wander through an exact replica of the cave, but more recently, the Altamira trustees began to let a limited number of tourists into the real stone gallery. They were not confused by the concerns of some experts who believe that even a limited weekly visit can ruin all the art of the ancient people. Kakadu National Park in the sparsely populated northern part of Australia contains some of the best preserved examples of rock art created by the indigenous peoples of Australia. The paintings are located under the ledges of the rocks. Some of the images are believed to be at least 20,000 years old. These paintings tell the story of human life in Australia from prehistoric times right up to the first contact with non-indigenous settlers and explorers. For many of these ancient artists, the act of drawing was considered more important than the resulting image itself. It is for this reason that some of the old paintings of the park were later painted over with new sketches. The Mura cave in Bulgaria contains paintings made between 8,000 and 10,000 years ago. It is believed that these images show festivals, other important events, and deities unique to the ancient Balkans. After studying all the drawings, the scientists discovered that they were drawn using bat guano, in other words, from partially decomposed remains of their droppings. Currently, visitors can see some of the paintings during a visit to the cave, although it is necessary to book a guided tour in advance and pay an additional fee. This is the only way to see all the cameras that contain these drawings. One of the most interesting examples of prehistoric art can be found in Argentina, or rather in one of the regions of the country called Patagonia. The aptly named Cueva de las Manos, also known as the Cave of Hands, has the outlines of several human hands that were stenciled onto a stone wall. There are other paintings in the cave, most of which depict wild animals and hunting them. Palm prints and other images were taken more than 9,000 years ago. Most of the stencils are made with the left hand, which can tell us that the artists themselves made all these drawings using some kind of paint tube, which they held in their right hand. The paint was blown out of the device onto the left arm and spread around it. Guided tours of the cave are available for everyone. The main thing is to get to this remote place. The Bhimbetka rock dwellings in Madhya Pradesh, India, contain some of the oldest rock carvings in South Asia. Despite the huge number of years that have passed, all the images are perfectly preserved. According to experts, the oldest specimens were painted about 30,000 years ago. Some of the images are much younger, and the newest ones were created just recently, in the Middle Ages. To bring together works of art from prehistoric eras to the Middle Ages in one place is a great rarity and indeed a great success. The dwellings, which are part of the UNESCO World Heritage List, are open to the public daily. The karst caves in Maros-Pangkep are located on the island of Sulawesi, Indonesia, and attract a lot of attention because, based on recent carbon analysis, the images found here are estimated to be about 40,000 years old. If the dating is correct, it would mean that local artists made their paintings earlier than the European cave dwellers. In karst caves, there are images of hands, similar to those found in the Argentine cave mentioned above. There are also animal figurines. People can visit the cave as part of the tour, which also includes stops at interesting rock formations found in the vicinity of the caves. More than 1,000 drawings have been discovered around Pedrera, in northeastern Brazil. Scientists have disputes about these places. Some of them believe that the people who lived there came to this region even before the so-called Clovis tribe. Most experts on prehistory believe that it was the members of the Clovis tribe who became the very first people to settle in America. There are hundreds of archaeological sites in the Pedrera area, which is part of the Serra de Capivara National Park. More than 1,500 of them, including some places with cave paintings, are open to a wide audience. The artworks on the rock walls of the Lascaux cave complex are located outside Hargeisa, the capital of the autonomous region called Somaliland. The whole world turned its attention to them only after French archaeologists began studying this complex in the early 2000s. The paintings, which remain quite vivid to this day due to the local arid climate, range in age from 5,000 to 11,000 years. The drawings depict both humans and animals.